In a small village, there was a secret no one liked to talk about. Behind the big meeting house, hidden under the ground, the elders kept a dark room. The villagers called it the torture chamber, though not openly. The elders said it was a place of justice. Anyone accused of stealing goats, spoiling farms, or bringing trouble was taken there. Once the heavy wooden door closed, screams could be heard through the night. A young man was once accused of taking yams from a neighbor's barn. He swore he was innocent, but the elders would not listen. They dragged him to the chamber. His cries shook the hearts of his family, but no one dared speak against the elders. The torture chamber made the people live in fear. Even when someone was wrongly accused, no one had the courage to defend them. The elders ruled with fear, not with truth. But there was a darker secret. After the beatings inside the chamber, many victims were not completely dead, only half alive, their breath weak, their eyes fading. At night, the elders secretly sold their organs to strange men who came from the city. The victims were cut apart while still half dead, and their remains were carried away in carts, never to be seen again. To hide this evil, the elders told the families that the bodies had been thrown into the evil forest, where no burial was allowed. The families wept, but fear kept them silent. After some time, the gods grew angry with the village. Strange sickness spread among the children, the rains delayed, and harvests failed. Many whispered that the gods were punishing them for the suffering inside the chamber, but the elders told the people not to worry. They said the curses came only because of the evil of the wrongdoers, not because of what was done in the chamber. And so, the people stayed silent, afraid to challenge their leaders. One day, a brave woman stood up. Her husband had been taken into the chamber, beaten until he was half dead, and then sold to the men from the city. She told the whole village that the chamber was a curse, not justice. Slowly, more voices joined her. The elders were furious when the woman spoke. They called her a liar, saying grief had twisted her mind. But the people had seen the fear in her eyes, and they knew her pain was real. Murmurs spread through the crowd like wind through dry grass. For the first time, doubt entered their hearts. That night, the woman was taken away. No one saw where. Some said the elders threw her into the chamber, others whispered she had been silenced forever. But her words had already taken root. Families who had lost loved ones began to question the elder stories. Why were the bodies never returned? Why did no one ever find them in the evil forest? A young boy, whose father had been dragged into the chamber, decided to follow the strange men from the city. One moonless night, when the cart creaked out from behind the meeting house, the boy slipped into the shadows and trailed them. His small feet made no sound on the dust. He followed the cart through the narrow paths until he reached the edge of the great road. There he saw the truth. The cart was not going to the forest, it was being loaded into a big, black truck. The boy saw boxes carried inside, heard the men laughing in a strange tongue, and smelled the sharp, bitter scent of blood. The boy returned, shaking with fear, but determined. He told his mother what he saw, and soon the story spread from hut to hut. By dawn, the whole village was whispering. The elders called for silence, but their power was weakening. The people began to look at them not with respect, but with suspicion. Then came a terrible sign. At the village square, the earth split open after a heavy rain. The ground sank, revealing a hidden pit filled with bones, bones of men and women who had been taken into the chamber, and some fell to their knees, and others fled in terror. It was no longer rumor, it was truth carved into the earth. The elders tried to cover the pit, but the people would not allow it. They demanded answers, their voices rising like thunder. The chamber, once a place of silence, had now become the heart of the storm. And as the people rose, the gods watched, waiting to see if justice would finally come to the cursed village. The pit of bones could not be denied. No chants, no lies, no stories from the elders could cover what the people had seen with their own eyes. For the first time, the village stood together, not in silence, but in fury. The elders tried to escape, but the crowd surged like a river breaking its banks. Mothers who had lost sons, fathers who had buried empty graves, children who grew up without parents, all of them pushed forward with fire in their eyes. The people seized the elders one by one. Their long coats were torn from them, their staffs of authority snapped in two. They were dragged to the same square where so many had vanished. "You fed our blood to strangers," the people cried. "You sold our pain for your gain. Now you will face what you gave to us." The gods answered with thunder that shook the sky. Dark clouds rolled in, and rain poured heavy, drumming on the bones still glistening in the pit. The people threw the elders into the chamber they had built with their own hands, the chamber that had swallowed countless lives. There was no mercy. The heavy wooden door was shut, and for the first time, the screams from within belonged not to the innocent, but to the guilty. When silence finally returned, the people sealed the chamber with stones and fire. They swore no one would ever open it again. The cursed place was left as a warning, blackened by smoke, surrounded by silence. In the days that followed, the village began to heal. The people held ceremonies for the lost, calling their names, singing for their spirits. They planted trees where the bones had been found, so that new life would rise from death. And so the power of the elders ended, not with respect, but with shame. The people learned that fear can build prisons, but truth breaks chains. The gods had watched, and at last, justice had come to the village.